Hello and welcome to a Geeky Bit Bonus Bites. Since we're still celebrating DOScember, I thought I would tell you about my top 10 favorite DOS games of all time. While I certainly love all of these games and they're all great to play, a top 10 list does need a bottom and a top. So we're gonna go from least favorite to most favorite of my top 10 favorite games. Starting the list off right, the first game I want to talk about is Gobliins. It's number 10 on my list, and it's a fantastic point-and-click adventure game. It's an underrated gem that is often overlooked in lieu of games like King's Quest. Next at number 9 on my list is Hoyle Volume 1. It is one of the most iconic card games in my opinion, far beyond that of Solitaire for Windows. What would a top 10 list of DOS games be without a LucasArts game on it? And in fact, the game we're going to be talking about is at number 8, and that is Star Wars X-Wing. In this game, you are put in the cockpit right in the action in an X-Wing fighter to take on missions for the Rebel Alliance. The next game on my list is perhaps one of the most iconic games ever, and that is number 7, Wolfenstein 3D. This game is perhaps only dwarfed by its younger brother. Wolfenstein 3D is a first-person shooter and one of the best for the time period. This next game is perhaps my all-time favorite DOS point-and-click adventure game, and it's number 6, and that is SpaceQuest 4. Still to this day, I can count on one hand the amount of driving games that I like. I am not a fan of driving and race car games, but number 5 is certainly a gem that I absolutely love, and that is Stunts. It is a fantastic racing game where you can build your own tracks too. Number 4 on my list is essentially Crysis for the 90s computers, and that is Doom. It was a fantastic game that everybody was always saying, can it run Doom? And it was exported to a lot of platforms. This next game for me is one of my all-time favorites, and that is Duke Nukem 3D, and it's number 3 on the list. This is a somewhat satirical first-person shooter that leans heavily into potty humor. This next game I have spent countless hours playing. I have lost entire summers to even, and that is number 2 on the list, SimCity 2000. Have you ever wanted to run your own city? Perhaps you just want to destroy people's lives in a simulated disaster. You can do all of that in SimCity. Before I announce the number 1 game, I'm going to talk about an honorable mention, and that is Prince of Persia. For me, it was a really fun game, but unfortunately it didn't just quite make the top 10 list. Without spoiling Prince of Persia too much, you start out as a prisoner in a dungeon that you have to escape from, and it's an action-adventure video game. With all of that out of the way, my number 1 DOS video game is Fallout. It is a fantastic point-and-click adventure game with a turn-based battle system. The game itself is set in a post-apocalyptic world that takes place in an alternate future reality where resources were very scarce before an apocalypse happened. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it, and I hope you enjoyed some of these video games, and if you look down in the description below, I have a link to where you can get all of these games, and some of them you can even play for free online. And if you did like this, feel free to click the like button, and if you aren't subscribed so already, feel free to do so, and if you'd like to get notifications of my future videos, click that bell button.